Okay, it's August 26th, and finally got around to playing around with this office tank that often is the third of the 3 tanks we visit, and had some problems with the aeration on this, not getting enough air coming out, so I took the time today to not only add more gravel to it so I could really anchor those plants, which has been a major focus, but also to find out why I wasn't getting the air through the air stones. And now I've got heavy aeration going right in the back, right where the filter is, so it's being blown around by both the aerator and the jet stream there. And so what you're looking at is the tank as we're starting to get more care for the plants. Previously we replaced plants by buying them, and that's how we keep these tanks looking fairly decent. And more recently I've gotten into the fertilization, so using 3 methods right now, and we're seeing, recording this to see just what the difference is going to be over time. And so first of all, we've got the Flourish plant tabs, which go in every 3 months, and so I've buried them under some of the plants here. Secondly, we've got Leaf Zone. I've been calling it Tone. Leaf Zone, Z-O-N-E. And that I just realized, looking at it carefully, like I said, I've been kind of lax on the chemical part of this, fertilizer at least, is both iron and potassium, which is evidently needed for the plants to really thrive. And thirdly, my friend Bruce, as you saw in those recent interviews, talked about liquid CO2. And I've heard a lot of controversy about a CO2 adapter in the tanks, and I actually bought one time but never really followed through on it. And so I just received today from Amazon the CO2 infuser, and it's a liquid. You put it in each day, and based on what Bruce showed me with his plants, I was very impressed. He has to trim his plants, they grow so fast. And so I'd love to get to a point where I'm not buying plants, but rather trimming them and creating new bunches of plants from them. And so in this tank we have a nice size Amazon sword. So it goes with the height of this hex tank, and we also have a couple of bunch plants down the bottom, along with some Ludwigia both on the right and left. And also this gets some sunlight from the window, which I've covered up with the curtains right now to not show the shades. And so I'm hoping that with that kind of care, daily CO2, weekly leaf zone, and every 3 months the plant tabs, to really change the growth in these tanks. And the other 2 tanks, I really can see a difference already, even though I just started adding the liquid CO2 today. And so I'm really curious to see what that does. But we've revitalized this tank, as I think I may have mentioned last time. Totally vacuumed out the gravel, added more gravel, so I've got deeper gravel to plant the plants in and anchor them. And secondly, added some more fish in here and gotten rid of some fish that were in here, put them into the other tanks. So I had a beautiful betta in here, and one of the bettas died in the corner tank. And so rather than have it back here where it hides all the time, I moved it out there so both my wife and I can enjoy it. And so you have colorful platies. You have some fancy guppies in here. When I say fancy, they're not, show quality or anything like that. They're just very nice guppies. And she got into guppies based on watching a YouTube on fancy guppies. And next thing I know, she went out and bought some, and I picked up some with Bruce last time up there in Clifton at the aquarium, aquatics, whatever it was. And so you've got also some half black and gold mollies, and there's now 4 catfish in here. And we don't have a pleco in this tank, which I usually have a pleco in each tank, but so far with the lighting on this, I'm keeping the algae down, and the 4 catfish seem to be doing the work. And so this one is doing rather well, I think. And you're looking at pretty much the whole tank here. And so this is my new pride and joy, if you will. It's been one that I claimed was more natural, and that meant I wasn't doing much with it. But in work today now, I'm looking at this and saying, hey, this looks kind of nice. Let me keep this up. And so we'll see what that fertilizer does over time and include that in our reports here with Jim's Fish Room Update. Can't think of anything else new in this particular tank. I was pleasantly surprised up at that Clifton fish store. The guppies are only $2.99, and most recently we've seen guppies at a higher price than that, which weren't much better. And so I was very pleased with that. And you see some of those male guppies chasing the platy there in the center. And you've got some color in here. So right now, looking good. Looking good. Thought I'd share it with you on this bright summer Sunday toward the end of August. Hope your tanks are doing as well. And we'll have a report on the other tanks and how the plants are doing there with this fertilizer retention sometime in the near future.